My name is Kaylee Walters, and this is Tiny's Big Wish. One warm African day, a herd of huge elephants were marching across the plains. They were so big you could feel their footsteps shaking the ground like a train. They were so loud you could hear their trumpet calls from miles away. And they were so strong they could pick up entire branches with their mighty trunks. And then there was Tiny. Tiny tripped over his little elephant feet. Then he tripped over his little elephant trunk. The other elephants always had to wait for him to catch up. "Oh dear," sighed Tiny as his mother scrubbed his back. "I wish I was as big and strong and brave as the other elephants." Then Tiny sang his own sad little song. "Tiny is such a hard thing to be when everyone else is bigger than me. I wish I was brave. I wish I was strong. I wish my trunk was ever so long. I wish I could march. I wish I could roar and not be tiny anymore." His mother smiled as she sprayed Tiny's face with cool water. "Don't worry, Tiny," she said. "One day you will be a bit as big and strong too." Tiny peered up at his mother. He looked at her big wrinkly knees and her large crinkly ears. He looked at her bright blinking eyes and her gleaming white tusks. "As big as you?" he asked. "Bigger," said his mother. But Tiny wandered off, shaking his head. He just couldn't quite believe her. "I wish I had an enormous body like you," said Tiny to the old water buffalo. "Don't worry, Tiny," said Buffalo. "One day you'll be big too." Tiny gazed up at Buffalo. He looked at his great mane and his strong curled horns. He looked at his powerful hooves and his fast swishing tail. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. "As big as you?" he asked. "Bigger," said Buffalo. But Tiny wandered off, shaking his head. He just couldn't quite believe him. "I wish I had a gigantic belly just like you," said Tiny to the hippo. "Don't worry, Tiny," said Hippo. "One day you will be big too." Tiny peeked up at Hippo. He looked at his huge feet and his yawning mouth. He looked at his strong teeth and his big smile. "As big as you?" he asked. "Bigger," said Hippo. But Tiny still couldn't believe him. Tiny decided to ask some of the other animals. "Will I be as big and tall as you one day?" he asked the ostrich. "Taller," said Ostrich. Said Tiny, thinking hard. "Will I be bigger than you one day?" he asked the zebra. "Of course," laughed Zebra. "And bigger than me," said the lion. "And me," added the warthog. "Wow," said Tiny. Tiny ran back to his family. He couldn't wait to share what he had learned. "I'm going to be bigger than the buffalo," yelped Tiny, "and the hippo, and the ostrich, and the zebra, and the lion, and the warthog." "And me," added his mother. "Whee!" squealed Tiny as he spun around and tripped over his feet. "But first, you can enjoy being little," said Tiny's mother. "You can play and learn and grow, and we'll be here to help and love you." Tiny let out a small squeak and smiled. He dreamed of the day when he would be big and strong and brave. But for now, he was happy just being Tiny. The end. Thank you.